Happy Monday, Broncos country. Welcome back to another live episode of Let's Talk Broncos. I'm your host, as always, Bree Maestas, here with Zach Seegers and Joey Richards. Guys, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here with you guys. We had a nice long conversation before the pod, joking, having fun, and I am excited for this one. It should be fun. I have some exciting stuff coming out soon, and yeah, like I said, just excited to be here. Zach, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great because I'm watching at JR Drafts on Twitter like a hawk, making sure I'm ready to catch all his exciting new video content coming out. And also, like Joey said, we were just kind of pounding around and talking, and we are still feeling great after that PJ Locke interview. Another big shout out to him. That was so much fun. What an amazing interview. And yeah, hope to have him on again sometime.
If you missed it, you can go on over to Let's Talk Broncos or the Mile High Sports YouTube to rewatch that episode. I highly suggest it. We had a grand time. Definitely got a little more in-depth on PJ Locke, and he is a ton of fun. So we want to thank him again so much for joining us. Obviously, Zach set us up perfectly to jump into some of JR Draft's content as he gets ready to release a brand new episode here for Broncos Country. And you guys get the first sneak peek of it today on Let's Talk Broncos. So without further ado, let's let it play.
But let's move on to a signing I am really excited for. Ben Powers, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens, and played under that smash-mouth football team John Harbaugh has been cultivating down there for years. The Broncos ended up getting him on a 4-year, $51.5 million deal. And guys, I think the Broncos got a good one here. So immediately after the signing, I was a little bit skeptical. I won't lie. But mostly because it seemed like everybody was talking about how much he struggled on the move. But after taking a look at the film, I have to say, I disagree. He for sure isn't the most athletic, but he's extremely accurate. He meets defenders where they're going, not where they are. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. As you guys can see in these clips, he's made a ton of plays when asked to pull, and I just don't see him missing assignments due to a lack of athleticism like people were talking about. To go along with that, he also has really good power. He's a fighter, and you can visibly see that he likes competition. He likes playing the best. Also, based off last year's film, he's a really good pass blocker. He shows consistent technique and has a good enough anchor to sit down when playing these great interior defensive linemen. If I were to critique the Ben Powers signing, it would be based off of how much he improved last season. And I know that sounds crazy. Why am I critiquing a player for getting better, especially at his age range? 25, 26. These guys should still be expected to improve. It's just from the Broncos' perspective, they're paying $51.5 million for the player they saw last season, not the season before that or the season before that. So sample size, that's the small concern. And to be honest, I have no reason to believe it was just a fluke season. To me, it looked like good old-fashioned improvement.
Absolutely love it. A lot of power from Ben Powers. Joey, what else did you see out of that signing? What are you looking forward to breaking down? And can you give Broncos Country a little idea of what's to come with that next video? When is it dropping? Where can they find it?
Yeah, everyone, you can. So the video will be dropping on the Let's Talk Broncos YouTube. I repeat, the Let's Talk Broncos YouTube on Wednesday. That's the plan. Wednesday is where I'm aiming right now. I am completely done with the video, and it's fun. I'm going through it. I'm looking at all the offensive free agents. The Broncos signed all 5 at this point. And at the end, I'm kind of laying out what the theme is there, because there is a theme. I think they're cultivating something with all of those free agents, and it could tell you what Sean Payton is building for the future. Through those signings. So yeah, everyone, please check my video out on Wednesday. I really appreciate all the feedback I've got on it. It seems positive. I'm going to go back through, edit it a little bit, tweak some things tonight. But yeah, Wednesday, keep your eyes peeled, guys. And thanks to my co-hosts for allowing me to play that on the show tonight.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way. That's what we do here at Let's Talk Broncos, bringing you all sorts of different information in different mediums. So Joey's clips are just a one way to start expanding into that. You'll start seeing more of those more often, as fast as Joey can push them out. What are you thinking? Every other day, Joey? Just kidding. It's
yeah,
fine.
every other day. Every other day is the plan. No. Hopefully I get to a point where those are coming out like once a week. That's the goal. I don't expect it immediately. I'm still going through and learning Adobe and everything like that. But yeah, I think that's the plan every week.
So this is not a mailbag episode. However, Frankie Abbott has come in, guns ablazing. Frankie Abbott over on YouTube, if you'd like to get your questions and comments highlighted too, we may just answer them, asks, how many games do each of you predict Stidham to start next season? And he follows up with, I'm going with 4 because I'm a hater. Frankie, I don't think you're that far off, my dude. I think that it could potentially be that high, depending on how next season plays out. I'm going to break the season into quarters. I'm going to say the first 3 might be pretty beneficial. What?
I'm sorry, Bree. I'm so sorry. I was just trying to say, keep going, Bree. Keep going.
You're okay. I just making sure we're on the same page here.
We're all good. We're all good. I was just trying to. I'm pulling up Russell Wilson contract details. I was trying to say throw it to Joey next. Like, please keep going. I did not mean for this.
Listen.
I'm very sorry.
Live shows are the very best. I got distracted. That's on me. I got a massage earlier, ladies and gentlemen, and I just got to tell you, my brain is mush. The rest of me is mush. I'm just going to let the show happen the way that it needs to happen. Jumping right into it. Frankie needs to see how many games we think Russell Wilson does not play this year. So Stidham's going to have to come in at some point. Do you agree or do you disagree? And tell me how many games you think the backup quarterback plays for the Denver Broncos.
Okay. I disagree with Frankie a little bit. I could see 4. So actually I really don't disagree that far. Like I really don't. I could see 4. I would just think that the Broncos are going to see at the maximum of what Russ has next year. So as long as it's not injury, I would be shocked to see Jarrett Stidham play all that much. Sean Payton's going to want to see what he has with him because he has to make a decision the year after that. I think that this is a make or break season for Russ. Where that line is in the make or break, I'm not exactly sure, but I would imagine that it would have to be because of injury. Now, Russ could miss 4 games because of that. Who knows? I could see that for sure. So, especially, Frankie's been talking about Mike McGlinchey and how he doesn't really like him. If the offensive line hasn't improved all that much, I really like the Ben Powers signing. We're still looking for a center. Russ is going to get hit. It's just part of his play style. And he's getting older. So as much as I really hope he doesn't get hurt, I could definitely see 4 games missed due to injury.
We saw it happen last season. Zach, go ahead. I know you've been researching.
Yeah, so I wanted to see if there was a number on it. It's just he has to miss time with injury. And I think he will. If he does not return to an elite level this year, the Broncos, well, actually, no matter what happens, the Broncos are penciled in to paying him $50 million in 2025, a little over $50 million. It's like 55, fully guaranteed. 20 of that or so is guaranteed right now, but it becomes fully guaranteed on like the 4th day of next league year. So about 12 months from now, 11 and a half-ish. That's an absolute nightmare. The only way to avoid that is if he misses time due to injury. So he will probably miss a little bit of time due to injury this year, would be my guess, unless he returns to like an elite level, because then you can justify signing up for paying him $50 million in 2025. But if he's just mediocre, I don't think you can make that guarantee for 2025. That's 2 years down the line, and we're already seeing this decline. I think the Broncos and Sean Payton would look to distance themselves, and they'll want to keep that escape hatch open. So I think the line starts at 1 to the few people commenting 0 right now. Maybe he returns to an elite level and it's 0, but odds are I think it's at least 1, especially when you consider he is aging and his style of play is conducive to injury. I think we see 4. I'm going to ride with Frankie. I'm going to say 4 games with Jarrett Stidham this year. Because he's more appealing than Brett Rippon.
Fair. Yeah. Also, Frankie follows up, wonder what those incentives are in the Stidham deal. And then it's a bunch of, I think, sick looking faces. Not quite sure. Got some new viewers joining us. Bill over on YouTube is not new, but he says 0. Jody Moncrief over on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, Jody. Also says 0. She says Russ is going to start next year. But will he finish? A lot of signings happen. We've covered them mostly last week, but we can jump into them again. McGlinchey, Powers, Zach Allen to replace Draymond Jones. Then you have obviously run blocking tight end in Chris Manhertz. I guess we know where Sean Payton is going with this offense. Running back, P. Ryan, and then fullback Mike Burton, as well as a cornerback and returner in Tremon Smith. Guys, how are you feeling about those deals? But more importantly, where do you see the Broncos going from here? Because there's still a lot of needs to be had. So I ask you, where do the Broncos go from now? And what's the highest need? Although they did sign somewhat of a special teams back and forth there's been some talk about the still needed depth at cornerback. And my brain, and I haven't been able to get off of it since it's been a potential, of the idea that Bryce Callahan had a very healthy year with the Chargers and could potentially come back as a nice depth piece for the Denver Broncos. A lot of the resistance that I've been met with on social media has been the exacting of pointing out his injury-riddled career with the Denver Broncos. Staying healthy with the Chargers, though, makes me think that that's not a far off and also a cost-efficient opportunity for the Broncos to bring in depth at defensive back, because as we know, and as we will point out here on Let's Talk Broncos, that is something that needs a lot of stability, and especially in a league like today. So that is my vote for what the Broncos still need. There still are holes otherwise, but if we're going to talk about cornerback, that is the one I'm going to go for.
It's corner. Yeah. You know what, Brie? I'm not mad at that one at all. I'm really not mad at that. I don't know if people remember this about Bryce Callahan. You would prefer him to play nickel, but when he played the outside for the Broncos, he was really good at it. Like I'll never forget that play against the Chargers he had where Bryce Callahan's this small little cornerback, and he went up. It was in the red zone against Mike Williams, and he went up and deflected the pass at the high point of the football, which is where you think that you would be able to take advantage of him. So I wouldn't be mad at that, because I honestly do. Like, while everyone wants to sit there and be like, Bryce Callahan is a slot or nickel corner, I've seen him play the outside, and I thought it was actually pretty good. I really did. I thought he was an outlier at it while he did play there. Small sample size, but I know what he is as a cover corner. When he played, he was really good at it. So I wouldn't be mad at it. And then also the cornerback market in general, like Sean Murphy Bunting from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he signed a 1-year deal. I think it was like $8 million, $9 million. And he was a damn good corner for Tampa Bay. Like the cornerback market, I don't know what that's about. Even Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, right? He signed a really, really low deal. I'm wondering what's up with the DB and secondary situation with how much you have to pay these guys. It seems lower than I expected, especially with those two guys. So yeah, I wouldn't be mad if the Broncos went out there and got another corner. Personally, my biggest need right now.
Could I respond to your cornerback thing really quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think part of the reason we're seeing that market dip a little bit is teams are being a little smarter with their money on it. They're not just blowing up these kind of mid-level or above average cornerbacks and paying them like number one corners because they've kind of learned through being burned that a cornerback is in a position where like your number one guy is what saves the day for you. It's about not having weak links. And so I think teams have learned it's wiser to spread that money across your top 3, top 4 than it is to go all in on one guy. And as a job, I think it's kind of chopped out the top of the market there. At corner, I think the free agents I love targeting are guys like a Shaq Griffin. I don't think that makes sense here because of the scheme fit. I think he's more of a like cover 3 zone guy. I guess he can man up some, but I don't know if you want him on an island as much as Vance Joseph is going to ask him to. But these guys where they have really good rookie contracts, they go out, they sign an insane market setting deal, they flop, and then they're available like 2 seasons later. Those are the guys where I think you can find really good value in the market. Because is Shaq Griffin, who's like 26, 27 years old, is he really that different a player than he was when he was getting signed for like $15 million a year? No, but you're going to be able to sign him for probably, like Joey was saying, 8, 9, something like that on the open market this season. And so I think you can find, and he's still young, he's still growing. He's before, not physically growing, but growing as a player. He's before that like drop off. So that might not be a great one, but like Rock Ya-Sin is a guy I loved coming out of college. He's more of a man up, press man guy, might make sense in a Vance Joseph scheme. Shoot, I had one other. Oh yeah, Bryce Callahan. I do like the idea of Bryce Callahan. Put him outside. You have K1 to save him with some of that physicality, and Callahan's proven he can do it. And even if he's not starting, just add the body, bring back that veteran in the room. Everyone loved Bryce Callahan and loved playing with him.
There's definitely a potential that there could be a reunion. Another reunion I'll just throw out there for funsies for all of Broncos country is a Bradley Roby reunion. I think that could also be potentially being drafted by the Denver Broncos. Of course, I'd like to see that as well, but I am a bit of a homer, so I'll leave it at that. Who wants to go next? Zach, do you have a need that the Broncos country must absolutely fill in the next coming weeks?
Shoot. Well, I feel bad for stealing Joey's moment, but I'll be quick here. Connor McGovern is a guy that stands out for me just because the Broncos need a center. We had him before, and not that he's remarkable or anything, but he's just fine. And the Broncos, I would love for them to, like, let's commit to this vision of a strong offensive line and a strong front for Russ to play behind. And I think the most glaring weak spot left still is that Lloyd Cushenberry spot at center. That's been a nagging weak spot, and I hope the Broncos finally take care of it. There's not a ton of great options out there. I think Connor McGovern is maybe the best option out there. And yeah, just bring him back. Also, Sean Payton consistently, going back to his time with the Saints, has believed in that, and a lot of it was having a smaller quarterback in Drew Brees, but making sure the pocket was secure. That like front, right in front of his tiny little quarterback, was rock solid. And that's not the case right now because of the center position for the Broncos. If they sort that out, that center of the front is going to look really fantastic. Just if we're going all out, let's go all out. Do it right. Don't half-ass it. So throw some more money out there, get another offensive lineman, get Connor McGovern, remove that weak link.
Coming off of a pretty decent year, I'd say, started every game, and I think took every snap on the offense. I mean, it's kind of what the Broncos have had issues with on the offensive line, having to plug and play players, which resulted in a couple of mistakes and misassignments. So when you start to have a little bit of continuity there on the line, then you're not increasing the variability. So I would like to see a long-standing positional player come in and do what he does best, which is stay healthy and stay in the game. Joey.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll first start off with the interior offensive line and center. It would just be nice to have a body there. I'll be honest. It feels like the Broncos want to address that through the draft. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the very first pick they took was a center. Honestly, that's probably what I would predict because it looks like such a need. Lloyd Cushenberry could probably sit in and play it. He definitely could. We saw it these last few years. Is he ideal? No. But is it like you can tell the Broncos want to move on from everything I heard? Yes. It would be nice for them to put somebody there. Because especially, Zach, you mentioned how Sean Payton likes to build that interior offensive line. I am ecstatic for Ben Powers and Quinn Miners going forward. Ecstatic. I am so excited to see those guys. Literally one of the most excited I've been for a position, truthfully. But I would like to see a body at center. Just throw Cush some competition or something like that. Honestly, just through free agency. So I agree with you. My personal big need would be interior defensive line. And it feels like it's ignored and no one's talking about it. But I would really, really like an interior defensive lineman. You got Zach Allen in for Draymond Jones, but who is the guy replacing Deshaun Williams? It is a rotation up front, right? You want to keep those guys fresh. It's not just your starting three. You're playing like a ton of players. You're playing probably 5 interior defensive linemen throughout a game. And I would like to see another interior defensive lineman added. Shelby Harris is obviously available. I put out a little list the other day of some guys available, and most of them have been scooped up. I really like Poona Ford was a really good player. Michael Brockers is still available as well. There are some guys out there that could fill that spot. It's just about the Broncos going out to pay one, because it's hard for me to believe the Broncos. I would love to see Matt Henningsen or a Wazarike take that next step next year. It's just hard for me to believe that you put all your eggs in that basket, right? You need to have some sort of fallback option if they don't.
Yeah, my one thing is I wonder if they'll invest the money there with so much money tied up with Zach Allen and DJ Jones. That's one where I think, maybe we see them target the draft. I think they're definitely going to lean on Wazarike and Henningsen this year. But we'll see how that goes. Poona Ford is a name I've absolutely loved at defensive tackle as a possible Javon Hargrave, or not Javon Hargrave, a possible Deshaun Williams replacement. Looking at the free agents right now to jog my memory. Oh, and then Ashawn Robinson. That was the other one I was coming to mind. Ashawn Robinson would maybe be another nice discount option. Calais Campbell, I know, is going to be the one that all the Broncos fans want. He's the local kid. It's such a nice story. And maybe he is ready to do that. What I have read and I've heard in my NFL podcasts, not from sourcing, but just other media, is it seems like he wants to kind of ring chase, and he might even return to Baltimore. I don't think Denver's the ring chasing destination right now. But I would absolutely love the idea of an Ashawn Robinson, a guy who's proven, I think, to be good for the Rams, kind of in that second, third tier defensive lineman role, and could fill, maybe even be an upgrade on Deshaun Williams.
Very interesting. I do think Samuel Castro and Bill are in on Calais Campbell. Good rotational piece there. I think there's still value, but obviously, if the player does not want to come to Denver, could not blame them. Sounds like there are some media members also making some recruitment efforts there. Would be nice to see him come home. I am a fan of storylines. I think they're important. Frankie Abbott is saying reunite Henningsen and Keanu Benton. Anything to add there?
No, it'd be awesome. I mean, I just think the Broncos need to address it, right? And I see people in the comments. I also think that Wazarike and Henningsen should get a shot, like Christopher Hart is saying. And I totally agree with that, man. Like, they should get a shot. I would like to see it. I just also think that they should have a little bit of a fallback plan. Maybe it's not the best player in the world. I threw out, some of those names, and those probably are a little pricey for what the Broncos are looking for. But add another vet to the room. That's pretty much all I'm asking for. A guy that has some experience, a guy that I don't have to worry about, like, okay, he's not the best maybe, but I know he can go in there and fill a little bit of a role. Just somebody like that. And then if Wazarike and Henningsen look great during camp, hey, you know what? They make it. They're your two guys. It's just I want a little bit of a fallback is all. Just a little bit.
Bring Shelby back for cheap.
I'm not against it whatsoever. There's no hard feelings there. Go Hawks, go Broncos.
Ooh, and I didn't know this guy was out there. Derek Nandi, according to Spot Rack, is still out there. He was really nice for the Chiefs last year, as I'm sure Broncos fans might remember. I was really impressed with him. I would love to sign a guy like that. Maybe he's demanding too much money, but at 26 and not, big name free agent, a guy that probably isn't getting offered a ton of money right now. That's a guy who I could see being the rare free agent that outperforms his contract.
I was going to go in a direction here, but I think that we all need to talk about it. Broncos country is probably just bursting at the seams with anticipation as conversations continue to happen with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, their futures as Denver Broncos, and the idea that wide receiver could become a concern sooner than later. Are there any current free agent stars out there that make you feel like the Broncos could pick them up? I think the only one that I've really had any idea of, I can't think of it now. Hardman potentially, but I mean, yeah, I worry about what the there's a level of speculation. There is an idea here. Ooh, there's a fancy little graphic. Thank you, Zach. There's the idea that they exist in perpetuity until they don't. Right now, it's Schrodinger's wide receivers. We will not know until they are or aren't traded. But there's a conversation to be had that both or at least one could be gone. There's been a lot of rumors of interest of Jerry Jeudy being a little bit pricier for teams not willing to pay that amount. I think we've all had that conversation on Let's Talk Broncos of the need to keep him just because of the cost efficiency there. The Broncos shouldn't move on, but there's an idea that Cortland Sutton could potentially be off this roster for 2023. How do you guys feel about that? Because it gives me a lot of hesitation considering you lose a lot without much to gain from this circumstance. Because if you're looking to the draft to replace that type of talent, I think they have to go and look in free agency right now. Zach, you had your hand up first, so I'm going to shoot it over to you.
And I wasn't unmuted. I totally set myself up to fail. What a nightmare. DJ Chark. DJ Chark. And I know he's a Joey favorite. That's why I had to get in first.
What the hell, man? You're just going to steal DJ Chark from me?
So I think DJ Chark is the one I would circle. If you trade Sutton, and I kind of think maybe it's around draft time or something, and I hope they're one of these teams we see sign a guy first. Like the 49ers are probably going to trade Eric Armstead rather than have as much money as they currently have tied up in their defensive line. But rather than trade Armstead and then sign Javon Hargrave, they sign Javon Hargrave. Okay, now we know we're not opening up a void. We've gotten it taken care of. And now we can go shop Eric Armstead. I'd hope the Broncos do something similar where we see them sign the receiver and then we see the trade go through. But I think DJ Chark could be a good option. Let's say you sign DJ Chark for a contract comparable to the Sutton one, around $15 million. I think that's probably around where his market is. Probably even a little cheaper when you look at Kobe Myers signing for $11 million per, and Juju and everything, guys that I think were widely expected to be at Lazard being placed ahead of it. So you're probably signing for that works even better. That's better for my case. $8-9 million. I think Cortland Sutton's dead cap is $6 million. So that pairs out to the Cortland Sutton contract. So you have the same financial burden on your roster. You're picking up, I don't know, let's say a 5th round pick, and you're getting a player that I think complements the surrounding talent even a little better than Cortland Sutton. And maybe as a team, if you're making this move, you probably believe is a better player and a player you have more confidence in. So I could see that making a lot of sense, even if the money shakes out where a DJ Chark or a fill in the blank wide receiver free agent name is more expensive. I think you can justify it by going, okay, well, we picked up the pick and now maybe we have a wide receiver we feel better about in this offense. And maybe it's costing us $7 million or whatever, but we're the Walton Penner Group and we can afford to pay stupid money for a draft pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, with DJ Chark, obviously. I'm a big fan of DJ Chark. If you're looking for vertical speed and the guy that's going to get deep and win deep, DJ Chark is perfect. He's your typical, or what you imagine as a Z wide receiver in the NFL. It's hard to find those tall, long dudes that are also really going to run fast down the field. That's a skill set I think a lot of people want, and DJ Chark brings. So that I would also throw out there, if you're looking for that same skill set, Robbie Anderson is available. Now, I'm not sure what's up with him because it feels like he's productive everywhere he goes, but no one wants to keep him. So that's something you have to keep in your mind, right? Robbie Anderson is a player, though, that same thing, is a vertical threat right down the field. If you wanted a guy, a burner, Robbie Anderson, DJ Chark are two people. And if the Broncos even just wanted to bring in a vet, there's a ton of different vet wide receivers out there you could bring in and just see what they have or add to your depth, whatever the case may be. And Frankie says it. He says Chosen Anderson. I forgot about that. Yes, he changed his name to Chosen. So Chosen Anderson.
Zacchaeus, Olamide Zacchaeus is another one I like a good bit in that Z role. If you wanted to go with a bit more of a bargain option, I think he's been really nice for the Falcons in recent years.
Or even Marquez Callaway, right?
Hey.
He played with Sean Payton. There's a New Orleans connection there, and he would make some sense just to bring in. He's only 24 years old. I could definitely see that one as well, just to add to the depth of the room. Maybe not to replace a Jerry Jeudy or a Cortland Sutton. That's going to be really hard at this point. Maybe a DJ Chark is the best option. I've been on record with this. I wouldn't trade either of them. I wouldn't do it. But those are two guys.
All right. Christopher Hart says, I didn't read it first. I just highlighted it. That's always risky. How about we get rid of every wide receiver at the end of the year and just start over? Agreed. Who disagrees? I disagree. I don't like the idea of wiping the slate clean, although this year really does feel like they made a lot of moves to be able to strengthen across both units, the offense and the defense. So I don't really think they're in a tank mindset. Maybe next year. Next year's a whole nother can of worms. And with that, Broncos country, it's time for everyone's favorite segment of the evening. It's Joey's question of the day.
Yes, sir. It's Joey's question of the day. Everyone's favorite segment. We're back.
Was I supposed to hit the horn? There we go.
I just needed to get it up.
Okay, I was asking you guys about this before the Who?
Joey didn't even hear Zach. Wait,
Wait, what did you say?
I said I couldn't even get it up, and then I said that's what she said, and that's why.
Joey's question of the day. Damn, stealing my moment. You stole DJ Chark from me. Now you're trying to steal Joey's question of the day. Is out of control here on this podcast. I was asking you guys this before the podcast, but who do you think, let's say, like the 2000s era, would you say, like, I want to go like 2005 or so, who is the best running back? I have Adrian Peterson, Derrick Henry, there's LaDainian Tomlinson available. Who would you guys choose? Obviously you can go past that and there's all these legend running backs, but I'm curious, since the league has started changing, who is your guys' best running back of like this era, I guess?
It's got to be like LaDainian Tomlinson, which was my choice. It's got to be my choice. And then Priest Holmes, because they terrorized the Broncos. And I think that's necessary to point out that when you're watching in those early 2000s, that is what sticks out to you the most, is who made Sundays a living hell to be a Broncos fan. And those guys certainly did that. I think that there's a lot of honorable mentions that can pop up, and I'm sure that we can, tweet those out as we go along. But those guys stand out as just memorable names. They're household names in my head. So those are the two that I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Adrian Peterson. Mainly because it's just a little anecdotal evidence, but growing up, I was so excited to buy, I think it was Madden 08. I forget if it was Madden 08 or Madden 09. I think Madden 08, because it had I think Madden 09, because like Adrian Peterson's second year, he was just a monster, just like lit the league on fire. And I had my own Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl moment, or Michael Vick 2004 man. And I was like, I need to get the video game where I can play as this guy. He was just such an amazing running back. Absolutely love him. We didn't talk about Marshawn Lynch in our pre-show conversation, so I'll mention him here as another one of the greats that'll make the Hall of Fame. LT probably would be my number one, but Breed took him. Yeah, I'll stick with AP. I think he was amazing. Not a modern running back though. I wonder if he's like the last we'll ever see of that style, because even Derrick Henry, I think, has a good bit more of an impact on the passing game than Adrian Peterson had, outside of a pass protecting status. He was it was part of the reason he struggled to catch on other places later on in his career, was because he was such a tell for the offense. If he was in there, they were running the ball. If he was out of the game, they were passing the ball. I don't know. I wonder if we ever see another back like that again at that level of dominance.
Ooh, I don't know, Zach. I think if the guy was as talented as AP, he would find his way and be successful. That dude was a monster, and that's who I would pick. But where's the Derrick Henry love? Derrick Henry has had as good as a peak as anybody, like almost ever. He's been phenomenal, Derrick Henry, and he's still rolling. We'll see what else he has. But my pick is definitely Adrian Peterson. Definitely Adrian Peterson. That is my favorite running back. Shout out Brian Westbrook, though. I remember him in that same type of in that same era as Adrian Peterson. Brian Westbrook was really, really good with the Eagles. But I think it's AP all day.
I feel like I dropped the ball monumentally. Bill had to throw it out over in the chat. Marshall Falk was fantastic as well.
Marshall Falk was ridiculous.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100 career touchdowns. So shouts out to Bill for putting me in my place, because that is definitely one that I want to point out. Samuel Castro has Terrell Davis or Clinton Portis. So good on you there, Samuel. I think that those are appropriate choices as well. Christopher Hart says Sean Alexander kicked ass for a while too.
He did.
And I was wrong. Derrick Henry, even less productive in the passing game than AP. So big wrong. I think these are the last two of endangered breed of running back, though.
Oh.
So soak it up now, because I agree with Joey. Derrick Henry's great. Adrian Peterson's great. I don't know how many of these types of guys we're gonna continue to see.
Okay, how many? You cleared it up. I like it. That's perfect. How much? I totally agree. If you're Derrick Henry or Adrian Peterson, though, you're making your way through the NFL. They're just that good.
I'd agree.
I don't know what Frankie's doing in the chat, but he's entertaining me. We will talk a little bit about obviously running back is not a short up position for the Denver Broncos. We'll get into that on another episode, and we'll talk all the needs and things that will come up this week, because I'm sure it will not be boring. The start of the 2023 season is even more exciting than 2022 was. I'm hoping the amount of letdown is not the same. Broncos Country, thanks for watching. Zach, Joey, where can everybody find your work?
Everybody, follow me at JR Drafts. Keep an eye out for the video I am dropping. If you guys haven't seen the little clip yet, it played at the beginning of this podcast, or it's on my Twitter. It's pinned to the top of my page. It's a little teaser of the video, and you guys can expect that on Wednesday on the Let's Talk Broncos YouTube. And so please go check that out on Wednesday. It would be awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely check out Joey's work. It's going to be amazing. We've been seeing little sneak peeks of what he's working on in our LTB group chat, and it is really great stuff. We're lucky to have it on the channel. And another excuse for all you guys to go over to Let's Talk Broncos on YouTube. Really easy to find. Just search Let's Talk Broncos and subscribe over there to catch all the stuff we're working on, because Joey's got his video stuff coming out, but we've got a lot of other stuff we haven't announced yet that will be coming out over there. So make sure you subscribe to that. I'm also writing Buff stuff. I have to run because CU will be tipping off in like 20 minutes here on ESPNU. So watch that game, support the Colorado Buffaloes, and catch my game recap up on Mile High Sports later tonight. I'm also covering spring practice for Mile High Sports. The Colorado Buffaloes getting up there, seeing what Travis Hunter is up to. I'll tell you this. Charles Kelly, the defensive coordinator, said it was too early to name any player in particular that stood out to him. And then he couldn't help himself and went on to name one player who really stood out to him. And that player is a 2024 NFL draft prospect. That's my tease. I'll have an article out on it Tuesday. So go check that out. Tuesday or Wednesday.
Your ability to create anticipation is next to none. Go follow at Zach_Seegers at JR Drafts, and you can follow me if you so feel obliged. Bree Maestas 303. It's my birthday on Wednesday. Don't forget to tell me something nice. Have a good night, everyone.